Christine Gritmon here with Social, my weekly Facebook Live program. And usually I have a guest who's either a social media or digital marketing professional or sometimes a fellow small business owner. But this week I actually have my intern, Jaylene. Hi, Jaylene.
Hi. Hey, everybody.
I just want to make sure people can hear her. So Jaylene, say something, and then if someone who's watching can tell us.
Hey, can everybody hear me? Just go ahead and say yes or no.
People just let us know if you can hear her.
Okay, I hope so.
Anyway, so she's my guest. Jaylene has been my intern this summer because oh, good. Will says we can hear. I can't hear you though. So you know what? I think I need my headphones. 1 minute. But Jay, tell everyone about yourselves for a minute while I grab my headphones.
So for those of you who do not know who I am, my name's Jaylene. I am going into my 5th year at the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga. I'm studying marketing, so very relevant to what we're doing here. So this summer I got the opportunity to come up and learn a little bit and work with Christine and I guess just expand my my education and understanding of social media and especially how to connect it with small businesses. So I hope what I got out of this I can share with you guys today. And for those of you who are kind of in my footsteps or small business owners can kind of, take a look at the things that I found were really important and we can go from there. But I also actually just recently got inbound marketing certified through the HubSpot inbound marketing training that they offer. It's a really great experience, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that and then also what I learned through Christine. So can you hear me now? Are we good?
I can, yes. The problem is my microphone was plugged into the headphone jack, and so I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, perfect.
I should know that better by now. But anyway, so yeah, as you said, so you did the HubSpot inbound marketing training, and then you got to put it into practice with me. Sorry, technical difficulties. We'll be back on momentarily. But anyway, in case everyone can hear me, HubSpot is a company and they have HubSpot Academy, which does trainings and all sorts of things. Their inbound marketing training is kind of their best known thing. It's sort of their signature product. I did the training myself last year and passed the certification test. And it's great because there are companies that literally won't look at you for marketing positions if you don't have this, which is interesting. So I wanted to make sure that my intern got that. So my intern got something kind of valuable out of this summer. And also, I took the training before really putting a lot of the things that I learned into practice for my own business, and I'm trying to get more serious with that too. They also have other certification courses. I'm not being compensated by HubSpot in any way, by the way. I'm just rah-rah. They have additional trainings. They also have a content marketing certification. Content marketing is a very big part of the inbound marketing process. So I'm working on that certification myself, and I'm going to the Inbound Conference at the end of September in Boston. If anyone out there is watching and going to the Inbound Conference, definitely connect with me so that we can meet up. And I'm not seeing Jay anymore. So hopefully we can get her back up and running. Not sure what's happening there. Anyway, if anyone has questions for me about what it is that we're talking about. So inbound marketing, basically the premise is used to market to people by going out there and saying, hey, here's my product, buy it. Here's why you should buy it. And the premise of inbound marketing is really kind of thinking about the consumer first, what they're looking for, what their journey is going to be, and then putting stuff out there like content to show them that you are what they're looking for and to make them interested in discovering you, as opposed to you putting it all out there and saying, okay, now buy me. It's making them come to you because you're interesting to them, not because you did a great sales pitch. So some ways of doing this are, of course, content is a huge part of it. If you have a blog, a lot of companies used to be resistant to blogging because they'd say, well, I'm a whatever the company is. I'm not a blogger. And the thing that blogs can do is they show thought leadership. They're good for SEO. They're good for helping people find you online, because if you have good keywords in there, people who are interested in the topic will find you. And if that topic is something that your company is knowledgeable on or can help with, then that's useful. These people should be finding you. So blogs are a good way to do that. And it's also very shareable, and you can spin a lot of content off of it. You can, if you have a good blog post, you can create a video about it. You can break the larger blog post into smaller little bits of it, focus on the smaller elements, and even do guest blog posts that go in more in depth in those smaller elements on other blogs, which will further your reach. So blogs are a good place to start. Another element of inbound marketing is things like video. Video is a great form of inbound marketing because it's a really good way to show, not tell. It's a really good way to show what you do, show why you're the best, really demonstrate something, why you're interesting, and sort of draw people in without saying, hey, I'm selling this thing. If someone's interested in your video, they're going to want to know more about you. They're going to want to know more about your company. They're going to want to know more about what you do and what you can do for them. So if they find your video interesting, that's a great form of inbound marketing, because again, it's not a sales pitch. Some videos are, but that's another great form of inbound marketing. And it's about leading the customer on a journey, really helping them discover you at their own pace instead of really trying to race to close that sale. Because of course, everybody loves it when you put out there what you're doing and then someone says, oh, I got to buy that, and that's immediate. But nowadays, consumers have so many choices. They have the internet for research. They have all of these options at their disposal. They have a luxury of choice. So they're not going to do that. They're not going to say, oh, well, you're the person in front of my face, so you're the one I'm going to buy from. No, they have tools at their disposal that they can really research if you are the one they want to buy from. And they have so many people clamoring for their attention who do what you do. So how are you going to catch their eye instead of that other person? So that's really the premise of inbound marketing. It's about realizing that you need to get the customers that are right for you and you're right for them, and developing a relationship, showing them and letting them discover themselves that that's what you are. And I am going to try to get Jaylene back on. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm going to send the invite again. So let's see. I'm going to resend this to her. Hey, if you're watching, I'm resending a link. What just happened here? Now my email's whatever. Okay. Well, anyway, if anyone watching has any questions about inbound marketing, how it may differ from classic marketing, because that's one interesting perspective Jay brings. Jay is a marketing student, and I didn't actually study marketing in school. I just learned through years of experience with companies that were very marketing based and working with marketing departments, and obviously some degree of reading up and educating myself. And so it was I was doing that pretty much in the era of inbound marketing. So it's interesting to hear how formal education in marketing sort of teaches more of the classics. It does teach about customer profiles, consumer profiles, which of course is an important part of inbound too. But it sort of sticks to more old school, more direct sales thoughts and branding and things like that, from what I gather, rather than the immersive storytelling and the slow seduction of inbound marketing. So I don't have Jay, and I don't appear to have people asking me questions either. If anyone would like to ask me a question, that would be fantastic. Anyway, my intern, Jay, the reason I brought an intern on at this point in my business is because My first year in business was very kind of exploratory. I almost functioned like a freelancer. I was sort of swinging from tree to tree, figuring out what I was going to be doing. What I wanted to be doing actually has shifted. Jay says she's talking, but she's not on screen. Anyway. Oh, here she is. Yay, Jay's back.
This whole time I've been talking thinking that I'm...
Oh my God. Jay's back. Woo!
Sorry, guys. This whole time I've literally been like, where's Christine? What's going on?
Oh, no. All right. So I told them, I basically gave an introduction as to what inbound marketing is and how it kind of differs from classic marketing, but how that's sort of a blind spot because I haven't studied classic marketing and you have.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear a little bit more about why inbound marketing is something that's a little newer and more exciting because it's sort of the thing everyone's doing now, but it does represent a shift. I mean, you can even tell from a consumer standpoint, and social media has been part of that shift. But
yeah, absolutely. Of course, my dog starts barking the second that I start talking again. Okay, so I think that inbound marketing is so important when it comes to marketing because, like you're saying, there is going to be a huge shift in where this is going. Heidi, please stop. So I think being able to actually stop turning around and being buy this, and being like, no, come on, like you guys like me and let's go in here. So I think it's taking a whole different channel of being so down people's throats and turning it into where people want to be with you in your company and your business because they like you and they know that you know what you're doing through that. So I'm going to go in a different room so that she's, I'm sorry, of course.
Yeah, one of the little kind of taglines that people in inbound marketing use a lot is people buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Know, like, and trust is so like the three buzzwords. I mean, I'm considering a tattoo. Know, like, trust. That might be a little excessive, but at the same time, I totally might.
No, right?
Are there any elements of the inbound marketing training where you were like, this sort of contradicts what I learned in school?
I would say that a lot of inbound marketing is perfect for small businesses. I would say that traditional marketing, is it's elements in there that are going to be a little too difficult for huge businesses to attract with. So I feel like that's why we're learning a little bit more like that. But this makes way more sense. I wouldn't say anything necessarily contradicts. It's still the same way of how to get a customer and how to delight them and keep them entertained within it. I would say we learn more of a broader scheme of how to do within that, though. So I think that for those of you who haven't done this certification or looked into it, even if you're not looking to necessarily have that certification and take the final test, you can still go through all of these trainings and look in the areas that you think you need the most help with. So I think that's probably where I don't think anything necessarily contradicts. No, so I'm like going on a little tangent, but no, I don't think it contradicts.
Okay.
I think it's all super relevant in the grand scheme of things. But if you guys haven't done it, you really, really should, because it's super important to know these things, and it's super relevant to any form of business that you're doing. So, yeah.
Now, you mentioned how inbound marketing seems to be something that'll work better for smaller businesses, and maybe the stuff that you're learning, would work better for bigger businesses. Can you expand upon that a little bit? Like what elements?
Yeah, so I think for larger businesses, it's almost easier for them to attack and drown their customers, whereas for smaller businesses, you want those people to come in and get closer with you. And whether you're looking at a larger geographical area or a smaller one, how you target those is still the same, but they're doing it I just feel like they're doing it on a way larger scale. But I think that larger businesses are going to completely transition how they're going to target. So for a little example, well, I guess this isn't too relevant, but I think that larger businesses are going to start doing more of product placement, and which is where they have things inside of like TV. They'll have like a Pepsi can in the back, and that's product placement. So, and
they're starting to do that in virtual reality and augmented reality spaces too.
It's going to stop being so in your face and more of, like Kylie Jenner had a teeth whitener on her Snapchat. I need that teeth whitener now because that's a person I know, like, and trust.
And that influencer marketing is a huge part of inbound.
Absolutely. It's huge. So I think that that's where it's going to transition. We're going to stop seeing so much. And it's interesting because less people are watching television commercials, but they're getting more expensive. So I think those are going to fade away a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think the way that things are going, but especially for small businesses, I think that to look at yourself and try to market yourself like you're a big company, you're just going to end up being not in the right area and it's not going to work for you. So I think this like really especially shows small business owners or even medium-sized businesses how to attract, delight, you know, get those people to want to come back to you and know who you are. So that's what I think.
It's more relationship building than sales building in a way.
Exactly. There was even an example that they used for Lowe's, which Lowe's is a huge company. Mm-hmm. And it was about how to attract their customers. They gave them like free tips on DIY stuff. And so it was a reason for people to follow Lowe's because normally you know Lowe's, you're just going to go into Lowe's. But this was, here's a hanger, take a hanger and put all of your ribbons on it and hang it up in your closet. It's a great storage tip. And it's just that little 30 seconds that next time you're going to be wondering where you want to organize your ribbons, that's where it's going to go, you know? So it's really easy to get people to remember you by doing things that, by giving them that knowledge and free information.
And it seems like between the product placement and the knowledge and tips and stuff, like you said with Lowe's, it's more a matter of being like, this brand fits into your lifestyle. This brand can be part of your life, your existing life, you know, separating the idea of shopping from life.
Exactly. And it also really brings the companies down to earth and show, you know, like we're not just trying to steal all of your money. We're trying to be here and show you customer service and customer satisfaction. So I think that's a big thing. And to be able to deliver content to your customers, I feel like it's just so huge and it's so necessary nowadays. So I think that's big and small.
Great. And then was there anything in particular in the inbound training that was totally a new concept to you where you're like, whoa, I never thought of it that way?
I would think that there are little things. I wouldn't necessarily say for like marketing in general, but with tiny things like, oh, that's how I should put a call to action in an email, you know, so like little tiny reminders of that. So
like implementation tips more than the concepts.
Implementation tips I think are key with what I learned.
Great. And then, so of course, part of it, and Will, I'll answer your question towards the end, I promise. So part of what we did this summer, in addition to you doing this training, which you pretty much did on your own, is then you also worked with me like 10 to 15 hours a week. And you were with me when I was working with clients. And you helped me organize my own workflow, which was completely embarrassingly disorganized. Much better now, you guys. So were there any particular lessons that the inbound training that you were really able to put into practice with your work with me in particular, like any specific stuff where you're like, oh, this connects it?
With inbound, I would say, I can't remember necessarily if they talked about CRM systems, and I think that they did, because they do have their own, which is the one that we ended up choosing to use. So I think
going through the stages is really what kind of got me there.
So I think that they do talk about how you can use a pipe drive setup, which is so through a CRM system, which is customer relationship management. So for those of you who need to keep in contact and need to set tasks and goals for your company, it's a really, really great way to stay focused and organize that for yourself. And you can set tasks through a pipe drive setup. So you know this is in progress. These are the people I need to call. These are the people I need to get a quote from. And so you can set it up in that specific order. And I think that is just huge, because I personally didn't know anything about CRM systems before you or HubSpot. So I think to be able to do that, I feel like we should have that for more than just CRM. I feel like I want to use it for like, how can I do this for like school? Like,
Greg and I are starting to use that process actually for just stuff we need to do around the house. It's like, oh, we need to get this back to so-and-so, and just kind of having a place where those tasks live and we have visibility to them and we know their status. Like, we're trying to do that too.
Yeah, I think CRM systems are just an amazing tool to use. And for those of you who don't use them, and we are sparking a little light in your head, like, what is that? Definitely look into them, because it's going to be a great organizational tip and a tool for you to use to really.
And there are a bunch out there. Like you did a lot of research. You looked at HubSpot.
iDrive. I had a list in there, and of course,
yeah.
I literally did so many. And also, for those of you, I know a lot of business owners to transition. I also learned a lot about social media automation systems. So for those of you who own companies and you're like, I don't have the time to post every day, take an hour out of your day, just throughout the week, just take little photos and do this and do that. And then you can set up these where it automatically posts for you, which the one that we ended up choosing was Buffer, for those of you who wanted to know. And you can really just set yourself up for success through those, and, mark that time out of your Saturday evening and just be like, I'm just going to knock it out. And then you have your whole entire week of social media set up for you. So it's a really great way to use those tools to really benefit you and your company. So I think that as well is one of the main things that I think CRM systems and the social media automation, like, those are just killer. Like, I can't imagine owning a business and not using them.
Yep. And I wasn't.
Yeah. So it's great.
Yeah. So what were some things you learned this summer that you mostly learned from kind of working in the field, like by my side?
I would say how to analyze analytics, which HubSpot goes into that a little bit. But to be able to see it in practice is a little bit different than me writing down, oh, this is the percent it needs to be. And with using analytics, I think being able to, it's about learning too. You have to analyze those, because if you realize, oh, this post did awesome, but this post did horrible, then like, these are the posts that I need, and these are what people want to see. So through analytics, being able to analyze that and really benefit off of it, so you're not even wasting your time anymore, Mm-hmm. I would think that's really key.
Cool. Has anything from this summer changed or solidified kind of your future goals of what you want to do? Is there, what are you interested in, what directions you're interested in going into, what directions you're maybe not interested in going to with marketing?
Well, I think that, so as you know, I've always wanted to be involved in beauty marketing, and I still do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it kind of opened a broader perspective of, wow, like, there are a lot of people who do need help and to understand how to use social media. So the potential of even doing something like you do one day is definitely not out of my mind. I would say that. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, I can't answer.
No, it's all good. Thank you so much. I'm going to look at our comments now. And if anyone has any questions or comments for Jay, please do ask. We would love this to be more interactive. So, Will, when I was on my spiel before, where I was trying to improv, just kind of figure out stuff to say about inbound marketing, one thing I mentioned is about content being so strong, and how a blog is something that can beget other content, because you can write a blog about something and then you can break it off into little pieces and kind of go into them and do other posts. So, Will, one example of that would be last week I did and I didn't do this myself, so I haven't practiced what I preached. Blogging is a smaller part of my content strategy than video is, but last week's episode of Social, my friends Melissa and Erin, the nerdy duo, they talked about a few elements of how to make your online videos better. And they talked about planning, they talked about lighting, they talked about sound, and they talked about support. So there was a little segment on each of those. And when I did a blog that I posted the video with, it was very minimal. It was very short. I still need to do a list of product links. Sorry for those of you who are waiting for that. But I could make each of those sections its own post. I could do a whole section on, and in fact, we may do that. I may do that with Melissa and Erin in the future. We're not sure how we're going to make that happen, but they'd like to expand upon that, and I'd love to have their lessons. So talking about planning, a whole blog post, a whole video, a whole discussion about what planning do you do before you even do a video? That's content right there. A whole segment on lighting, a whole segment on. So basically taking pieces of whatever you do, because generally thoughts can be kind of arranged and broken down into segments. You talk about different topics when talking about a topic. So that's one example of how you can take one thing and then kind of milk it and sort of do little sub pieces off of it. Almost any piece of content can do that. One of my things that has become a way that I get a lot of content is if I go to a seminar, which I do a fair amount of, I'll live tweet the presentation I'm there receiving. And so other people are receiving the same information and benefits that I'm getting by being there. And then I'll take them and I'll put that Twitter thread into a Storify thread so that it's kind of organized. And then I'll put that Storify thread onto a blog. And if it's something where there's numerous segments, I can, do one for each of those. When I went to Social Media Day on June 30th, there were several speakers. There were, I think, 5. So I was able to do a blog post for each day the following week, just focusing on each presentation. So that's one way to kind of spin things out. Barry, I will look into a process called Kanban. Kanban. All right. Well, do I ever take the sections and break them off as ads that are targeted towards a specific audience? That is a fantastic idea, and I should do more of that. But absolutely, that's a very good idea. If you do have something like that where there's a broader post with broader appeal, but then there's sort of like niches within it, that's a very good idea, very good strategy. You can make sub-content and then advertise it.
I would say also, if you, within creating buyer personas, which you'll learn in HubSpot, if you make buyer personas and you have multiple areas that are super off from each other, so if you have like grandmothers or older women that are from 55 to 65, but you also have children, let's say, that are 16 to 18, then those content would be something completely different for them. You have to really target those two separately because it's totally different things that they're going to want to see, and possibly on different platforms as well. So to be able to take something, and even if you're planning when you're creating something, you can plan it out so you're kind of getting the content for both of those at one time, so you're not doing double the work.
Absolutely. And that's a good point. One piece of content can absolutely do double duty if you just kind of put a certain slant on it or target it right. To go back to the example of if we kind of spun out the discussion of video, the discussion of pre-planning, maybe I'd promote that more to business people. Maybe I'd do that more like LinkedIn, but something about great lighting, maybe I'd promote that on Instagram because those people want good lighting, right? That's a very visual network. So that can absolutely be done. Will wants to know what your plan is after college.
Oh, goody. Well, I graduate this December. I'm pretty much open to anything. I would love to stay clearly in marketing or go a little bit into advertising possibly. But I'm really open to any opportunity that I feel like I would do good within, and that would fit me. But again, I am extremely passionate about the cosmetic industry, so I'm going to try my hardest to get involved with that. But I know I'm young and I have so much to learn still. So if I do have to do something involving a smaller company, I'm up for it. So just anything to learn and to grow. So yeah, just like I think he also said the industry is changing or it's moving so quickly. So I want to be able to stay up with it and keep up with it. So. And
Will also said, what is the industry from a college standpoint suggesting for continued education in the field? I mean, honestly, I feel like it's things like HubSpot Academy, Hootsuite has its own educational program. Facebook has a great program called Facebook Blueprint. obviously I know the things that are more social media based, but HubSpot and Hootsuite are not just about social media. They have general marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you know of that's kind of good for continuing education in the marketing field? Or
it's actually hilarious because now that I'm graduating, the amount of people that have asked me if I'm going to go back to get my master's degree is unreal.
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
It's good to work for a little while before entering an MBA program if you do.
Unless it's necessary then to accelerate my career later. But for right now, I know that the knowledge that I do have, I can do something great with. So as far as continuing your education, I would agree with you to stay up to date with those different certifications that they're offering, but also just keep up to date with your industry through different like blog posts and industry websites that they go through. On LinkedIn, you can even look up what industry and follow all those people, read what they're doing, and keep your mind as innovative as possible and keep open to things. And even how Christine goes through her midweek minute every week and talks about how the industry is changing and where it's going and what's going on. I think it's important to keep up to date with those, because if you didn't know, then you're a whole step behind, you know? So I think
some really good sources for that are, I know for putting together my midweek minute, I have Google alerts each and every day on each of the major social media platforms, plus a few other smaller things I'm trying to keep my eye on, just in case they do something really innovative that winds up influencing the big guys. Then there's, I forget what it stands for, but there's an email, IAB, something briefs, industry something briefs, that I read. There's also Flipboard is a really, really good option for, you can say what categories you want top stories on, and they'll send you top stories on those categories. There are things like, there's something really big I'm forgetting about. Oh yeah, Social Media Examiner. Social Media Examiner is a great source of what's going on in the industry. In fact, my midweek minute is a very condensed little 1-minute version that's something like Social Media Examiner. I suck at listening to podcasts. I'm a working mom. I have like no time to listen to podcasts, but I'm trying to start because enough people have told me I need to listen to podcasts. And the Social Media Examiner podcasts are definitely where I'm going to start, because it's kind of like an hour-long version of the midweek minute, which is much better. You get so much more information. You get to hear from actual industry leaders instead of just some random redheaded girl. And so I think that the Social Media Examiner is really the way to go. And I love Social Media Examiner anyway. Their convention in San Diego, Social Media Marketing World, that I went to in March, literally changed my life. It changed how I approach my whole business. I'm so excited to go this year, and I want to speak next year for sure.
You should download iHeartRadio app. I listen to podcasts on there, and just while I drive so unbelievably much, it's crazy. So I usually just put it through my Bluetooth and listen to it in the car. And they have one that's like marketing over coffee and
nice
stuff like that. Yeah. So I would say iHeartRadio is something you should look into.
Let me know other ones that you listen to, because I mean, I'm only in the car for like 15 minutes at a time, and then I have kids with me, but I'm going to try. So tell me more stuff that I should be listening to.
Absolutely. I will.
Do you have any at the moment? Marketing over coffee, you said.
I don't have my phone on me. I left it downstairs, but I can I'll actually leave them in the comments for you guys whenever we get off, that I can let you guys know as well.
Thank you. Let's see. Barry says aim higher than you think you can achieve. And I think that's a really, really good call.
Okay.
Otherwise I would not be owning a company. My goodness. And Barry's starting his own company too. Barry's one of my best friends. Love Barry.
Hi, Barry.
Well, I love that you love the Midweek Minute. Thank you so much. Keep watching it and sharing it. Does anyone have anything else for Jay before she goes? And she can keep kind of haunting the comment section for sure.
I will keep haunting.
Jay, why should people apply for my internship this fall?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. I would say not the number one. Okay, there's so many things. Number one, she's so up to date and she's so open to any question that you have within anything within the marketing industry. Not only does she know, but she's not like that scary boss, which we've all had, where you're not able to ask questions or you feel like it's irrelevant or anything. Also, I would say that she's one of the most caring people I've ever met. She was willing to take me all the way into Manhattan to help me for graduation and try to meet people in the industry and stuff like that.
Thank you so much to Stephanie at L'Oreal, Tracy at Woosh Beauty.
Yes.
Who else did we meet with? Margot at Bobbi Brown and Patty at Toka. All of these are former colleagues of mine. I have been out of the beauty industry for a very long time. So these were fantastic women who were willing to, pick up my email and say, yes, I will talk to your intern girl who I worked with 10 years ago. Well, Margot I went to high school with, so we go a little further back than that. But thank you to all of you ladies. But sorry, go ahead, Jay.
But yeah, I would say there are a lot of things that I, again, would spin my perspective on. And I probably wouldn't have had the initiative to go and look for the HubSpot certification. So to even have that on my resume now, I thank you for that. But yeah, just with the tasks that she assigns, and some of them may be a little tedious at times, but in the end, in the grand scheme of things, there are things that I learned through those little ones, so even going through links to find midweek minute things or going through those things, and I ended up growing from it. So
it was so helpful to me. Oh my God.
There's so many things to learn. And if you are a student who's a marketing major or interested in marketing and you need an internship, highly recommended. So it was awesome. I literally walked out yesterday and I was like, oh my God, that's really sad. I'm not going to see her anymore.
I know, it doesn't seem real yet. It won't feel real for a little while. And I'm so mad because I got you a present and it's in the freaking mail. I'm going to send it to you and it'll be glorious, and you should Instagram it and tag me. And
I will.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's social. Yay. Thank you so much to Jay. Have an amazing semester back at your final semester at University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Go Vols. I've heard that a few times this summer. Go Vols.
Mocks for them. So
yes. And everyone, I do social every Friday at noon, different guests every week. And so check it out. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.